this is the fourth and final part of the ancient Cistern, and as you would assume in the final part, we're finally going to be fighting the boss of the dungeon, who is just a fantastic boss.
Yeah, one of my favorites in all the Zelda games, really.
Probably top 5 for me.
Definitely top 5 of them. I would have to sit down and think about where I would put him, but he's definitely a top 5 for me.
And also, it's kind of neat, we're finally going to get the big key that we got a little preview of all the way back in
part 1 or
part 2, I think.
Part 1 or 2. Actually, I think it was part 2.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice how it's a tease that we saw that earlier. And like, no, you're not going to get that for a half hour.
Because usually you don't see the boss key until you almost get it or in that room. So yeah, it's kind of like, you know, oh, here's a treasure chest, but you're not going to get it for a long time, obviously.
Yeah. And what we had to do back there in part 3, we saw, or maybe it was part 2, I don't remember, when we lowered the statue, its feet covered up the area where the
boss key was.
So now we have to raise the statue back up and climb back down that long rope we just climbed.
And I love it's not like a water mill, but like those wheels on the end, like turning. I kind of just like that little cinematic right there.
I do
those
too.
things. I mean, obviously, I love the statue rising up. That looks pretty cool, and I don't understand how Link jumps down right there, and then the Triforce of Courage doesn't do that. No. I mean, it just doesn't. Maybe the one of power, but not of courage.
Magically grabs the rope there.
Yeah, so whatever. Zelda logic.
Hey, it's either that or he's splattered onto the pile of bones there at the bottom.
Yeah,
Or he uses sailcloth, of course.
No, that's true. That's one time where I forgot to put away my whip.
Yep.
And I was just trying to. Although I do love that dazes them.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's a really nice kind. It's not something we use heavily. But it's cool that they include that. Like, the whip can actually hurt them a little bit.
We should use it more often.
I know.
Anything that dazes an enemy would be perfect for us.
Of course.
Nope, we just go running in. We're going to go full steam ahead.
I just think it's when we talk about how dark and morbid this lower area is, like, the floor here is like bones.
Yeah.
Or it's a bone pattern on it. It's so spooky.
And I think this, I mean, I'm not sure I know I'm talking about a lot about the trailer and what was shown in the trailer, but I think this part right here was also shown, and then you're just like, oh, you can just walk out.
Yeah.
You know? So I thought, like, really cool cinematic, but then I was like, nah, it's just too easy.
It's kind of a cheap way to get back out of here.
Yeah. But we'll take the cheap ways.
Hey, I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
As players. Yes. As fans, we'll complain.
Yes.
But as players, we'll
if somebody else is playing or watching a past playthrough, we'll complain.
But it is nice now that we finally got that boss key, or I guess they call it the Blessed Idol in this.
Yes.
We're finally going to go to the very top of this statue, which we could have done as soon as we got the whip, but we wouldn't be able to use.
And I love these water streams that we got to use to get all the way to the top. Absolutely, that looks awesome.
And it feels like an epic climb too.
Yes, it really does. I mean, those are by far the longest water streams, those sprouts that we've had in this dungeon.
Especially that last one there.
And one thing I really like, well, first of all, I like this little key thing, whatever. But one, I like the look of this key, and two, it was not near as hard as the other ones in this game.
And this is funny, like, if you could have come up here when we first got the whip, and we would have read that...
Which I think I did.
You have to go... I think I did too.
Yeah.
You have to go look in the earth for the key that opens this, and man, seems like it would have been a long time ago from when we got to the whip.
Because I guess your instinct is always to go up first rather than down, because I guess if you feel like you're going down, you're backtracking in a way, kind of. I mean, you're not, but it feels like that, so...
And I feel like that goes all the way back to something like Tower of Hera, where you like always climb higher, always higher, always higher.
But you go down first.
Yeah, it's not the point. Eventually you go higher. But it is cool I like how you can see these areas at the beginning, or not necessarily at the very beginning, but early in this dungeon, even though we don't get access to them until much later.
And then the whole opening of the statue right here, now you're just high above this place.
Yes.
Probably one of the, I know we talked a lot about the cool stuff. We always do.
Of course, yeah.
But like just, being on top of the statue right here was just pretty awesome.
I know we could have got a pretty good view if we walked to the side and looked over.
Yeah, we can kind of see some of it right here.
Yeah. It is cool being up on top of all of it, though.
We can always go back and look.
That's true.
In the game.
And now we raise that statue all
the way up to top.
Yep. That does lead to this awesome boss
fight. And just one of the things, I mean, obviously the boss is awesome, the way he fights and the mechanics of it.
His appearance.
But I really, that's awesome too. But I really love the theme they use with it. It kind of feels like a, I don't know how to listen to it.
It's very...
I have to wait till we get there and hear, but it's kind of like something you would hear in the movies, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But I just love this lead up to it. I mean, like riding the water sprouts, then opening up the statue, then raising the statue even higher. Just a great lead up to a great boss.
Yeah,
And it's such a minor little detail thing about like the lead up to bosses sometimes. You think about Turtle Rock in A Link to the Past, that platform.
Yeah, that mood. You had like the little pillars with the torches, like which really hadn't been in any of that part of the game until then.
And you think about the second dungeon, Majora's Mask, that awesome door to get to the boss. That snow. Like snow with spikes ringing the door that leads to the boss.
Oh yeah, you ramp up. See, I like just the ramping up top part of it. You know,
so it's just little touches like that that can really add to the feel of the boss.
Well, going along with the boss, we say a lot of the reasons that we like certain dungeons is the lead up to those dungeons in the area that take place in. So kind of the same concept right there.
Yep. And just kind of going back to something we just saw here that we talked right over top of. I like how the main bad guy keeps showing himself throughout this game.
Yeah, Gearham or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I can never pronounce his name.
I can't either.
But I like how he pops up in like 3 or 4 dungeons.
He does.
Just a neat addition, because you don't really see Ganon a lot in some of the other games.
No, you don't. No, there's really he always seems to come up in like the between part 1 and part 2 technically of the games when he always shows up.
Exactly. So it's nice to have this guy consistently popping up and taunting you. It's just it keeps your eye on the prize. I guess.
But I kind of go back to this boss. Like one thing I really liked about this boss. Like there's a lot of concepts and bosses that are like reused over, and they might not be exactly the same thing, but they're similar. This boss, like whipping it and tearing his arms, is something that we never done anything like that I can remember in any Zelda game.
Me neither. It felt so original.
Yeah, so new and original.
And this is something I just kind of thought about. The colors they use here, gold and purple, it mirrors the upper and lower levels of the dungeon. I had never really thought about that till just
I kind of noticed the purple, but I guess I really didn't think about the gold that much.
Yeah, it's just a great. The 2 sides of the dungeon are kind of parallel here again in the boss.
And the room also kind of has that look around it with the gold and the purple in it.
Yep, I think it's a nice little touch. This is such a fun fight. I loved using the whips to rip his arms off, like you said. And later on in the next phase of this fight, when we actually like pick up his own swords and use them against him.
That's really what sealed this for this dungeon, for this boss fight. Kind of going back to Wind Waker, really, because in Wind Waker, remember, you really didn't use them that much, but you carry those bigger swords, and like really, it's kind of going back to that concept right there.
I think you have to in this one though.
Yeah, you do have to use it. That's why it shows it like zooming in on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Like how you take out his legs and then like just, when you slash him across, I guess what would be his heart.
Yeah.
With that big sword, it's just, I feel like a man when I'm doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I know exactly what you mean. But it is great too that in the second, right now he's obviously stuck in his place here. But once we finally rip off the last of his arm, or the arms that were blocking his heart there, I guess, he comes popping out and starts actually finally being able to move around.
Which, if you could pop out and move around before, why would you not start a boss fight like that? I'm just going to say you're stuck in the ground, even though I can get outside the ground.
I always thought
this is why we always win, because they don't use their heads.
I don't know, if you look at the official Zelda timeline, we don't always win.
Well, I always won.
Me too. But no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
But I love when he pops out, though. Now he's got 6 arms. They all have I guess he always had 6 arms, but he's got the swords now. And like we said, they zoom in to really show you, hey, you're going to use these items.
I think he gets me every time. Like I pick up, go run at him, and then wham. Yeah. I think it happens every time.
Plus, I think you run slower with the sword in your hand.
You do use, but he always has like a little pause. Yeah. That's kind of when you're supposed to kind of wait, but we don't do very well patience in Zelda games, so.
It's so great, like using that, you do the side swipe first to take his legs out, and then you take out that grate or whatever that's covering his chest. It's just, I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know any other words. And then awesome.
And like we said, just the look of him.
The theme kind of going behind it.
Yeah.
It has that epic, theme to it.
Sounds like an action movie climax theme.
I just remember, I don't know if I actually, got and stood up during this boss fight, but, I was on the edge of my seat during this boss fight.
I probably did, swinging my stupid whip around like crazy.
Like I just did right here.
Yeah.
I spun that guy pretty good, though, right there.
And one thing to remember, you kind of saw it a few moments ago, if you lead him into one of these pillars in the middle of the room, and he takes out the pillar, a heart or 2 does come out of it, so if you're ever, that desperate for health, which even though we've been hit a few times, we've avoided it pretty well.
Yeah. This game, I really don't remember being low on health that often, so you should be okay. But obviously the pillars are there for a reason.
Yeah.
You need them.
That seems to be a consistent theme in boss fights in Zelda. There's pots or pillars or something. that you can get recovery hearts if you need them. I mean, they don't want you to totally suffer these games.
Yeah, and man, I can just not get the distance right on this guy, as you can see.
You finally got it there.
I didn't want to get too far away because then you can't get all 3 arms.
Yeah.
Like right there, but it ended up working out right
It's so
there.
great when you get all 3 of them, though.
Yeah. Yep, he got me again.
I think he got me every time. I just bit the bullet. I was
He's like you said, he's not taking that much health, so.
No.
And once you figured him out, he wasn't too tough.
No. Just a fun, epic feel, and epic look.
Yeah, I just love swinging that. I mean, that's just awesome right there.
It is cool to see like this big golden golem, I guess, or robot machine type thing that you're fighting.
Yeah.
That Girahim, is
yeah.
that his name?
I kind of wish because it doesn't really make sense that your sword's going through that armor.
Yeah.
I wish you kind of would stab him actually, like stab him like in the heart with that big sword like 2 or 3 times. Cool. That would have been. I mean, this boss fight was already epic, but I think that would have added a lot if you would have actually stabbed him with that big sword.
And I know that was something you really liked, and that you mentioned on the mini boss fight, was using the stab attack.
Yes, and it's kind of like the square of the swords.
And that's another great thing about this boss. Like, it parallels a little bit like that 4-armed mini boss that we had. Like, you had the 4 arms with the swords.
Yes.
Obviously, the motion controls are a lot different in the boss fight. But it's just every time.
Could you imagine the motion controls on this guy?
Oh, God.
Like if you had to swing, oh my God, that'd be worse. But like if you had 6 swords and you had to swing it a certain way, oh my God, I might have quit.
I probably would have. I probably would have.
And then I would never experience sand ship. It would have just been a tragedy.
We'll be getting to that before too long.
Yeah. Now this part right here, I kind of blows up and the sounds before.
Yeah,
I wasn't a big fan of that part.
I could take or leave that.
I feel like there should have been like a loud groan, like a loud manly groan.
Yeah, not just.
Yeah. But this boss was so much scarier than that little, side they made or whatever you want to say.
Like we said, this has been one of our favorite overall dungeons and a great boss fight to really cap it off.
There's just a lot of things in this dungeon that really just kind of came together, which most dungeons are like that. You just get everything that kind of comes together in them.
And they did a fantastic job with it. And that wraps up the Ancient Cistern.